Le mettre à l'eau. Hein.
Faut le mettre à l'eau. Ouais.
Faut le mettre à l'eau parce qu'il ne va pas vivre.
Faut le mettre là. Quick. Fais gaffe à la mer parce qu'elle va pas loin. Pas trop tout de suite. Laisse-le un peu au bord. Qui s'habitue à l'eau.
Bon, ouais.
Placed in the river by its rescuers, the little reptile swims off to continue a life so rudely begun.
Ça va aller là, va aller là.
Silently watching the rescue, the maternal crocodile fulfills some dim guardian role. But it is doubtful that she ever will recognize her offspring again. Later, Philippe and his companions move unchallenged among the herds of hippopotami. Ordinarily peaceful when left alone, they are not always as docile as they appear. Yearly, they take a higher toll of human life than do either lions or elephants. Especially bad-tempered during mating season, bulls sometimes kill rivals with slashing attacks of their huge teeth, a fatal result generally rare among members of the same wild species. Often as heavy as 2 tons, ungainly on feet too small for their bulk, the hippos nonetheless leave the water at night, sometimes walk for several miles to graze and consume as much as 400 pounds of grass before returning to the river. Though groomed and rid of parasites by his guest, the hippopotamus is sometimes careless of reciprocal courtesies. Probable birthplace of man, site of a spectacular early civilization, much of Africa long lay shrouded from Western eyes. The north, from Red Sea to the Atlantic, fell under Arab dominance as early as the 7th century. Much later, the southern tip was conquered by the Europeans. Central Africa, its geography and its peoples, remained almost as elusive and shy as the fabled Sitatunga, a marshland water buck, which hides underwater and sometimes dies of sheer fright. Yet, seemingly immune to intrusion, the isolation of equatorial Africa was maintained not by armed resistance against alien visitors. By an irony of history, its black tribal cultures and rich wildlife were preserved by the very thing that was its curse, the tsetse fly. Traveling overland with the Cousteau team, a Belgian scientist, Jules Hanotier, explains. Although no more than 1 tsetse fly in 1,000 carries the germ of trypanosomiasis, or sleeping sickness, the insect, says Mr. Hanotier, has been a lethal barrier against foreign settlers. Through centuries of exposure, wild animals have developed immunity to the disease carried by the fly. But domesticated animals, such as cattle, which flourish in drier regions, are easy victims. If it were not for the tsetse fly, says Mr. Hanotier, the rain-swept grazing areas of Central Africa would long ago have been turned to stock raising, and the wildlife would have vanished as it has elsewhere. Later, in a Paris Institute for the Study of Parasites and Tropical Animal Diseases, Jacques Cousteau questions a tsetse fly specialist Dr. Jean Gruvel, regarding research experiments with the 30,000 flies maintained in his laboratory cages.
Ces mouches jouent un rôle considérable dans l'écologie humaine.
Obviously, says Cousteau, the insects must represent a major threat to human ecology in Central Africa. Dr. Gruvel agrees. Not only does the tsetse fly carry its debilitating and often fatal disease to man, but its lethal effect on domestic animals has been a continuing obstacle to stock raising in the infested regions, areas in which malnutrition often is widespread.
Je vais essayer de vous montrer la prise de sang.
Offering to demonstrate the process by which the insect feeds, Dr. Gruvel has a tsetse fly placed upon his own arm.
Voilà.
Quickly, the hungry fly takes its stance, inserts its tubular snout, and within a minute is ready to take blood from its donor.
En moins d'une minute, la mouche a trouvé sa place, aspire le sang.
Drawing blood until its abdomen is swollen, an infected fly simultaneously injects the parasite which it has received from diseased animals and stores in its salivary gland. Though the tsetse fly was not identified as carrier until early in this century, the symptoms of sleeping sickness itself had been commonly recognized. Nervous tremors, fevers, speech difficulty, swollen facial features, and white tongue are among the symptoms of advanced stages revealed by patients in the Lirangu Hospital in Sudan.
What are his chances of improving?
Well, it depends. Sometimes you have very spectacular recoveries.
Denying sleep to its victims, the disease produces instead a comatose lethargy which finally fades into death. Downstream, beyond the range of the tsetse, the Catalina reaches the Sud, a vast swamp as large as England, in which the Nile itself seems to lose its way and its identity as a river. Here, safe from the baleful fly, cattle are central to the existence of the Dinka, one of the Nilotic tribes which occupy the tracts of land hidden within the Sud. Even the dung of the cattle, when burned, provides a protective smoke cloud, and the ashes to coat bodies against the myriad mosquitoes and marsh insects that swarm about them. More out of curiosity than urgent need, the Dinka villagers accept the pills and salves and minor applications of first aid offered by members of the Cousteau team.
You should take it with water.
Not vastly impressed by Western culture and its ways, the Dinka long ago developed their own backcountry medicine. Again, the wastes of cattle serve a vital function. Their urine is widely used as an antiseptic, as a food preservative, sometimes combined with ashes as an extra protection against insect bites. Even the babies are carefully bathed in urine to forestall infections.